Hey guys, welcome. So I was a minute late. I'll bring my tardy slip. Sorry. So today we're working on the Buick Bug. We're going to do the brakes. I got to get the brakes set up. I haven't even thought about how I'm going to fabricate it or any of that. So you'll get to enjoy me overthinking things and trying to figure it out. While my good friend Ken's over here yelling at me, no, that can work, that will work. So it works out really well having him here. I overthink anything and he tells me it's fine. So let's go ahead and head over there and let's talk about what we have for parts and how we might be able to fabricate it. So let's head on out over into the shop. All right, so what I have here is the frame. The body's sitting outside because I fiberglassed that this morning. And so I have the axle. The new axle just arrived today, but I didn't notice it got shipped to the school, so I have to pick it up tomorrow. So the engine plate sitting here on a pair of angle iron in between the braces here. The tooth, I'm running a 41 chain because the competitions that we do here for our drift trikes and go-karts and buggies all use 41 chain. So this way, all the chain I have around my shop are fine. So that works out. So I have right here, so what I have right here is the actual brake. This is the Amazon 1999 special, I think. Oh, $49.99. Yeah, it's gone up in price. and what it does is it comes with a simple hose right to the actual master cylinder, which this isn't the actual master cylinder. It's a different one. But this is it. And so I took it apart, put in hard brake line. This was all on my older Bug, the other one. And so this is what I got. And what I want to do is I just took it off of there because I have the frame, but I doubt I'll ever really put it back together. Maybe down the road, but I have to get wheels and all that other stuff. And they're getting to be a premium right now. So let's go ahead and look at this closely. And what I have my issues are is I have the body comes and it sits right on top of this frame. The underskirt, which is sitting over there, sits right under the frame. So where does the hose go? Here's the back. So what I have is I have the little slot right here on the side, and there's just enough room for this little slot right there for the brake line to go through. So those are the things that I know, and from there I got to fabricate. So what I have to do is I got to set up a way for this drum. Now, with the axle rotating, it's going this way, so we want to be able to lock it as it goes. So the preferable is to have it somewhere on the back side. That way it will, or jams in when you lock on. And the other thing you have to be aware of, as I'm trying to pull it through the frame here, is where's the bleeder valve. You always want the bleeder valve to the top, so that way you don't mess up. So this way the bleeder valve is up, that's how you bleed the brakes. So what I'm when I brought all the parts over here today, I set it up just real quickly, just like that, and I'm thinking that I'm going to go with something like that, but the problem is this line is going up, so I got to change that because I can't go across that. So it's a lot of trickery. So let's start with rotating the brake line downhill to about a 8 o'clock angle. Let's start there. And then we'll go from our fabrication. Let's see how far we get along. And then once again, if you have any questions, please just go ahead and post it right in the comments. And then I'll be able to answer those questions and provide you with some ideas, feedback, and suggestions, all for free. So. going. Okay, so now I got it down as most I can. Sorry, my master cylinder is getting tied up. So I got the master cylinder jammed up. Here we go. Just got held there. So I got it lowest into about 8 o'clock. It's more like 7, but that's all right. You can never tell time anyways. All right. That looks beautiful. Now let's see about full engagement. Okay. There's full engagement. What do I interfere with? What I'm looking at, I'll bring you over here. Come on, get down. There we go. All right, so what I'm paying attention to is I got the frame rail here, I got the bearing hanger here, and so when I set up the brake caliper, I'm looking at, I have a mounting pin right here. This is the guide pin. So is that going to be an issue if that sits back there? So I want to be aware of that. But I also want full engagement when I'm talking about it's with the brake pads, that they are fully engaged as deep as possible on this rotor. I actually had to grind the rotor tips off to get it to fit. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm probably going to trim just a little bit off of that bearing holder there. So what I'm going to do is get some Gorilla Tape. So I'm going to grab some of my Gorilla Tape. Now, if you joined me last week, you remember how I run my Gorilla Tape. I slice it down the middle. So I'm just using this to kind of hold it in proximity because I don't have too many hands. Okay. Well, as I move forward, pull away. I'm gonna go like that, I think. Oh, what if I go in there? Ooh, there's a pretty spot. It likes there. Get to the parts. Okay, I think I found its home. I got full engagement on this thing, meaning that the pads are fully seated against the rotor, and it's sitting inboard. You don't see it as much. There's plenty of room for everything. I'll just have to move this to a 6 o'clock position. That will sit right inside that little cove. It'll go right alongside the belly pan. And I will be able to build a bracket coming off of this and support it here. So And what we want to do is we want to send the bolts through. Is this is threaded, so the bolts come this way. So I'll just take a quick gander and find my tape measure again. Oh, there it is. It finds this. So what we got right here, we're going to measure just roughly coming off of this. We're going to come off just like that. And so I'm going on this side. I'm going to go off of that. That's 4. It's actually 3.5. But we're going to go to 4. And I'm just going to cut a piece of cardboard that's 4 inches by 2.5. So the other day, last night, I was out here working on the Buick Bug, trying to get the body shaped a little bit, and I'll show you a little bit. But I was out here doing a lot of cutting with my razor blade. My younger son wanted to come out and help me, so yeah, he brought me a razor blade to help cut. Really sharp, so I'll make sure I use that later. So I'm just going to cut. I need to keep this. This is the radius of the body. This is what I'm going to use to make sure that the Bondo's coming good. So I'm just going to use this piece of it. Okay. So got my tape. I'm going 4 inches this way. There's 4. 4. I have to put a curve to it. There we go. Okay. We're going 2.5 that edge. And draw a straight line. Okay. All right, so I got my little piece of cardboard here for the template to build. Let's see how well that comes out. So we're going to move. This sits about here. Okay, so trace that. Okay, so there we go. And now I have just a little part to notch around there. So that's what we got right now is we're just building that bracket. Okay, and I'm going to just use masking tape instead of Gorilla Tape. One is cheaper and I can get a bunch of this. hold its place. Okay. I'm just looking at that again. The bolts line up straight down from there. And I'm going to want to brace that way. So, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a piece of cardboard that comes down. Now I don't have a lot of material for it to hold down, so I got to make sure it comes down good. And the bolts will both be right here. Let me get in here, right here and right here. So I'll have to make sure that I can access them from under here, which is fine because the underbelly kind of stops here. On the original car, it kind of wraps up, but with the CVT, the axle, and everything, it won't have a lot of room to bend uphill. So it kind of just deads in, and when I get everything sanded, then I'll trim that up. So let's get another piece of cardboard to go down and shape that piece up. Okay, this sits here. Like so. Okay. All right, the little piece of cardboard I cut for this was just a little too small, so grab another piece. Now I'm going to tape this down. Yeah, tape it this way. Let's try that again. Enough of this. Okay. It's a nice Thursday. I'll be out driving too. All right, so I'm just taping down as it's taping itself to each other. There we go. I'll get some more pieces on there to help secure it a little more. And this is just a template. I can make this and get it just right, and then make it out of metal. Okay. So now I got the piece that's going to go down. So let's go ahead and tape this back into place. Okay. Now it's back into place. We'll take the rotor, well, not the rotor, but the caliper. Here. interfering. Okay, so we're interfering with a couple spots. Okay, can't reach it. Okay. Who? Oh, last week I talked about having sharp razor blades. That's what went away. I took a nice chunk out of my finger, and generally don't wear Band-Aids that often, but because I was doing a lot of fiberglassing, I didn't want it to get nasty in there. Just gonna let it scar up usually and just let it go. But it's kind of like I'm a auto shop teacher, and I tell my students I wear Band-Aids mostly just so that they don't faint from the sight of blood. All right, that sits there. Okay. Whoa. No, I was no. The reason I hurt my finger was I decided Adam Savage, those that might remember MythBusters and such, he buggered up his finger a while ago working on some machinery, and I was like, I should emulate my one of my idols or the people I look up to. So I thought, you know what, I'll do the same. I'll smash up my finger too. So, true. Following. Okay, so there we are. I am still got some interference issues down here. I'll mark that again and trim that out of the way. All right, sorry, dropping my microphone. All right, so just getting marks on them so that way I can set up the different angles. It's still interfering, so I'm going to take off a little bit more. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm marking as much as I can the location of this. And now I can, I'm tangling this up again. Got the car sitting up on some ice coolers. All right, so what I have here is I have just the rough guide of that. So this way now I can line it up. Draw it again. And now I have marking. Now, I have the center dot for this one. The center dot for this one's over here. So what I'm going to do, I got everything kind of placed, is I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. Actually, I'll just get some tape and I'll cut it into that angle and see what happens. So, sit there. There we go. Oh, just gonna set this up. Oh my gosh, it's already been a half an hour. Aren't you guys enjoying the film? I have to say thank you for joining. This has been an experience and a half. As I mentioned earlier, I'm an auto shop teacher here in Utah, and back in March, about a week before spring break, we did what's called a soft closure. And with that soft closure, we taught auto shop from home. And the issue is, much like a lot of other cities, not everybody has cars. So those students that wouldn't have typically had a car use these shop cars to do their projects on. And then I had other parents that didn't want to risk their student messing up their, their only own transportation that they're aware of. So I had to start doing videos, and our school only allowed 4 teachers at a time for 2 hours. This was right at the big scare of the pandemic, so nobody knew what was going on. So I, within a week, I built and painted the studio this beautiful blue, because that's what I had in my paint buckets available to me. I wasn't going to go out and buy paint just to get the studio set up. But I have to say thanks for joining me, because this has definitely upped my game on providing better lessons. When you guys ask questions, when you guys make comments on Facebook and stuff in regards to what you're watching and learning, it helps me. It helps me. So please continue asking questions, continue to follow along. I really appreciate it. Also, like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that as well. We will continue to build this. Even when this Buick Bug's done and the MG's done, we already have plans for another project, which should be a lot of excitement, which will be they call it a poor man's ATV. We're going to take a riding lawnmower and put full suspension on it to go rock crawling with it. So it's not CycleKart related, but many of the aspects will be based off of the knowledge that I've gained from this. So you'll enjoy those shows as well. There we go. Shameless plug. That was my commercial. Let's see. Other exciting news to talk about. The Huntsville first annual, hopefully it will be annual, race is coming up in 2 weeks. So I'm desperately trying to get this Buick Bug done. But hey, here's a little side note for you. The original Buick Bug, built in 1910, was built in 3 weeks. Overhead valve, engine, and all. So I've been at it a little longer than them, but I think I'll get it. All right, so I got my caliper lined up. I'm going to go ahead and mark my holes. And then I'm going to test fit it one more time, and then I'm going to track down some metal. Just like the exhaust, I want to get the premise done for you guys today. So that's down one more time. You can even see, so if I even square weld this to here, that plate, that's why I think I'm going to probably box that off a little. All right. So brake line's coming up through here. Master cylinder's kind of hanging off the edge. This comes up. Actually, let me move that. That's not be a problem. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some tape on here and just kind of shape up. This board. Hopefully. Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. That is roughly that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you for a little walk here. So what I've done is I have a top plate right here that will be steel. And we come down and we have the caliper mounting plate. There we go. Right there. And then we'll have a brace that comes off to the side. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to unpackage all this. Okay, so here we go. There is everything I need. Now I got to find the steel needed to do it. Okay, so let's see what we have. Got a little piece there, 1 inch there. Ooh, I like that piece. Lots of little pieces. I have a tendency not to toss them. Ooh, that's a nice piece. All right, so I got this chunk of angle iron, and so it's not as deep enough or wide enough. I wish I had, but it does pick up everything there. So that looks like about a 1 inch strap left behind. And I need that piece there. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go like that. And oh, I don't want to do that. That's sketchy. Let's see what else we have. I don't have a lot. I have to wait for some steel. So let me just check one other pile. I thought I had a plate left. Oh, it's back here. Give me a second, everyone. I gotta run to the backyard. Oh, that's where we're gonna end it. I don't have the steel, to be honest, and I do like Get you back inside so I'm not backlit. All right, so unfortunately, this is where we have to stop and part our ways. I don't have enough steel. I got just lots of little remnants right now between this this CycleKart, that CycleKart, and the mini bike out back. That plate was all used up, so I'll have to when I go in and pick up the axle, I'll go stop by and pick up some. Dave wants to know why that top piece. Two sides. Let's see what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Let's see what we got. Oh, let's see. Is that piece long enough? Oh, look. Oh. Ah, that's hot. That might work. All right. Let's see here. How would I do this? This would go here. This is extremely hot. Black sun or black steel. At least it's not Arizona. Sorry, guys. Okay, so it can't fit directly like that. That's why I had the L, because it cut around that. So I cut around that and then bend it. Oh my gosh, that will work. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll take this off because I need that to clear the rotor. Oh, you're right here. Okay, so who was it, Dave? Dave, yeah. Dave, thank you. I totally, as you were mentioning just a straight panel, I happened to look up and I noticed I had a small piece of the frame rail. This is, I think it's 16 gauge, way more than you need for this thing. But yeah, I'll shape it off of this. I don't need the top plate, just like you said, so I don't need the top plate. I just set my pocket knife down somewhere. So thank you. Okay. Huh? Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to keep going, but that's all right. I could do this. I could do this. Perfect. But, worst part is I don't have my. I have a nice plasma cutter, handheld plasma cutter at the school. I am definitely spoiled to get to use that equipment. Put there, and we're going to bend off of that line. That's still hot. Okay. And we need to cut back here. Okay. So that's okay. So I got my marks. What I did was I literally just took the top off. Now, the reason I had the top was to give it bracing, but with this much steel, there is no need, because there's nothing worse than a brake caliper. Well, there's many things that are a lot worse than that brake caliper coming off. All right, so I got that all shaped. I got the bend, which is right here. So I will bend this way. I got the cutoff mark. I'm going to cut this little U shape to fit around the caliper itself. So we're going to head out to the outside again, and I'm going to find my cutoff wheel, which is over there, and put a new plate on there. So let's go and enjoy that opportunity. Out of here, it's lost. Look out. You see the safety glasses? They're by the beacon. Oh, I thought there was other ones. Yeah, too hot for those. Okay. Sorry, talking to Ken. You've probably seen him walk around in the background. He's helping out. Amazing friend. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cut that slot and then kind of duplicate it on the other side. So we're gonna go ahead and mute out so that way you guys aren't. Now I'm gonna make a slot here for the 45, and then I'll cut off. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cut off first. Then I'll do the 45. All right. It's still outside. Sorry, water break. All right. So, we'll put the glove back on for another pot. That's going to sit like that. I think kind of hanging off of that one, so it's on this side at least. All right. There we go. I get it in the right position. Put my hands in the right position. And that on there. Come on. That's hot. Don't touch.
Oh, it is hot. Here, let me hold this one.
Okay. Okay. We gotta go like that. And that's gonna interfere with those bolts. So, come up with the. Here, let me grab that. Okay. Yeah, like that. Okay, so now it won't interfere. I'm gonna bend that. Okay. Hammer. Oh, that's an axe. Yeah, rubber. Okay. That's that enough. Hey, if you like and subscribe to this video, it helps out the channel. We can buy a bigger space. We can have our own Bonneville track. Okay. I got this. I don't know. So, I don't know if you want to bring the close-up cameras over here. All right, so here we go. I just got to shape that bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that out of the way because the bolts that hold the rotor on interfere. So I really don't want to change that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cut the bolts. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So you see that bolt tail or shank. is sticking out. So when I put the bracket in, let's see if I can hold it away so it then will interfere. But if I just cut it so it's flush with that nylon, it will work just fine. Actually, I probably won't cut it. I'll just get the right size. All right, so I got 4 minutes left. So I want to use that 4 minutes to talk about what we're going on around here. So first of all, let's thank you, David, for that. Now I have everything I need. I'll weld this in probably right after we end here. This will work out really nicely. I'm looking at that. I like that. Thank you. If we ever meet up, I'm going to have you sign this. So let's talk about what I got here. So this is what we've been following along on. You've seen this. My MG sitting outside. I'll show you that. The exhaust didn't get set up. I want to show you something that, actually, let me just show you what I did. It's kind of cool. So let me bring it over to you. So what I did was I already painted it, but what I had an issue was, okay, let's go back inside. So I had an issue with all the Gorilla Tape on here because it was just looking weird. Even though it was going to be buried under the exhaust tape, which, by the way, was cheaper. The exhaust tape was cheaper than webbing. But what I did was I got a can of expanding foam, and I opened up a slot right here and right here with the Gorilla Tape on, and just filled it up. And now, you know, it's gotten itself a little bit. I have to straighten it out a little bit, but there it is. When I hit it with the exhaust tape, it will straighten out and I'll have it secured. But I still have to make the tail, which is a big shark fin. So I'll probably make that up and I'll show it off on next Thursday's film. Next Thursday's film will probably be throttle control on this car. So I'll have the engine mounted. So let's go outside and show you the body. So let's go ahead and go over to number 3 here. And I'm going to try to put it so you're not staring into the sun. So what we have here, back you up even more. Yeah, I'll just put you on the other side of my tomatoes. There we go. Okay. Oh, the bubble popped up. Yeah, it's already dried up. Stupid bubbles. Got a whole ridge right there. That's funny. So this is all developed within the last 10 minutes. Because when I brought it out, well, 10 minutes, an hour, these bubbles weren't here when we dragged it out right before filming. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll fix it.
Stand in that hole.
So here's the body. You've seen the cardboard. What I did was I just laid down a cloth. And so this is single layer cloth down here, double layer right on this edge, which is over 1/4 inch, this is 4-layer ply, 1/4 inch thick, doubled up. So this part right down here goes actually into the frame rail so I can secure it. So this way I have something to lift myself up with. This part right here, okay, this part right here on the backside over the engine, the one I was fighting with the most, that's 3 layers of fiberglass sheet on here, and it's all starting to finally harden down. And then I have the whole front cowl. There's another bubble. And so what I'm going to do, and the top of this has 2 layers, and then the nose has 5. It had this one, then it wrapped, so that's 2. This one, and it wrapped, that's 2, so that's 4. And then I put 1 more right on top of that. So this is nice and hard. So that way, when I put the ram's head on here, it's truly ready to ram. Okay? So starting on Saturday, I should be ready to start, do a quick sand on it. And then I'm going to do a thin coat of primer. And then sand it so that way I can see all my low spots. Guide coat it with, or not guide coat it, but put a case of Bondo down on it. So that way I can get it nice. And that's all I'm going to do next week. Is nothing but sanding. So I'm hoping by Saturday the frame will be done, a rolling chassis, driving chassis. So other than the throttle, which we will do next Thursday for our film. And then the following week will be a recap of Huntsville. Me and Ken will sit down and we'll watch some film from it, and we'll talk about it, and we'll have our results from that. So let me step inside and finish this. So thanks, Ken. I want to say thank you again for joining me. I really appreciate it. I enjoy this. It's a lot of fun. I have learned a lot from it. Hopefully you guys are learning, and hopefully it will inspire you to build a CycleKart, a go-kart, anything. Just that you are trying something different, something outside of your range. So I will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you again for joining me.